the expectations from the peoples, the clients, or the other people, those who are working or asking work from us, it's definitely not definable. Especially throughout the period of construction development, the expectation that they are expecting from us, it's not limited, and especially they want someone who can control and in an appropriate manner provide some kind of cost advices. And most of the time, when we speak about cost advisors, we do speak or we do think the cost advisors will come from finance department. That's what we all think that, but that's not the case. When we speak about construction industry, in the construction industry, even though we have a finance department, which is going to work behind us, the commercial people or the construction people or the QS people, they are the front line runners who will deal with money or the budget. So that's always very fantastic work as a front line runner who is going to work behind the money and bring the money to the client. Prior to that, client will expect someone before they start the project, they will expect someone to come and sit along with them who can give some kind of good advice in terms of how we can plan our money. How we can plan our money. As you all know that planning money for a project is very important. Why? The client will have a very dedicated or specific or maybe very much determined amount of money for them to complete the project. So it's very essential for them to ensure the project's going to be delivered within the money that they anticipated. So normally in any project, the very first thing that the team will do certain elements called budget determination. At very early stage of the project, very early stage, the client will ask or appoint someone or some kind of people or small team of people, and he will ask some kind of question. Guys, you all are expert or maybe specialists in this, some kind of environment, a cost environment. I'm a contractor or I'm a developer or I'm a client where I'm going to develop some kind of development. But to be very frank, I have no knowledge about the market. And also I have no knowledge about how much it may cost me. I know that when I need some kind of hotel, I'm going to construct a hotel in so-and-so place. And that hotel needs to have around 1,000 room or maybe so-and-so finishes, so-and-so thing. But I don't know the money, how much it will incur. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give some kind of my expectation to you all. And you all are specialists. Can you please tell me how much it will cost? So this is what client will tell you all. So initially, what you will do as a specialist, you will determine some kind of amount of money, how much it may incur if you are going to complete this project. That's what we call budget estimation or maybe feasibility analysis. So after you completed that budget, we are not going to learn about budget. We're going to focus on the things called cost plan. So after you determine the budget, the client will agree, right? Okay, this budget is fine for me. I'm happy, right? Okay, you can complete my 1,000 room required hotel within, let's say that 200 million. So I want someone to sit along with me to ensure I'm going to develop my design as I want. I'm going to develop my design after we set and after we agree that yes, this hotel will be very much feasible, that will earn you profit and everything. The client convinced. Now he's going to develop the design and now he will expect someone to come and sit along with them to tell them every time, dear client, you are designing your hotel. Remember, you already set your budget to around 200 million. Now you are going to do the work. You are going to develop the design. Ensure that your development will not go more than 200 million. So you need someone who is going to be, who will be that person? Of course, we call them as a cost planner. And what they are going to do? Are they going to come and sit along with the client and tell them every time from magics or from the heaven something they are going to receive and tell that, oh, dear client, or now you are increasing, now you are reducing, your budget's going to go up and down. What they're going to do, they're going to use a tool called cost plan. As the client already determined his budget or his cost, that's going to be 200 million. Now he wants someone to monitor throughout the design development that this cost plan will not go more than 200 million. So simply, he will bring some people. So throughout the design development, you can see here, throughout the design development period, he will bring someone to do a document called cost plan. You can see here, the concept design and schematic design. Most of the time, this area, for this period, they will bring some kind of cost consultant who will come and sit along or next to the client, and they will monitor the design development, and they will inform the client, dear client, your budget is overrunning, your budget is underrunning, your budget is so and so, please take actions. So the client is very much focused about his money. Why? He already made his mind to start this project considering certain amount of money. Someone said that, okay, your project will be or will incur only 200 million. Then he made his mind. Now he started to do the design. So throughout the period, he needs to make sure that I'm developing the design. Of course, my design will not go more than 200 million. So he will appoint someone who will come and sit down next to him, and he's going to develop a document called cost plan. Normally, in the construction industry, this cost plan development or the document will be developed in mainly two stages. Mainly, one, concept design. The second one, schematic design. As you all know that one, we can't develop our anticipated design overnight. It will take very long period. For example, while I was working for one of the airport project, they took more than 2.5, 3 years just to complete the design only. So think about design development. So when we speak about design development, we have certain stages, especially this design will be started from a stage called concept design. In that, the client or the designer will make some kind of rough sketches. We call it as a pencil drawing. They will make some kind of sketch. Okay, you will have a hotel here. Next to that, you will have a car park. Next to that, you have a landscape. It's going to be something like a very sketch, initial sketches. Then slowly they will grow. They will develop the design. And throughout the design development, the team will determine whether we are achieving our required information or not. So based on the development, in the construction industries, RIBA, Royal Institution of British Architect, they made some kind of stages. That's what we call cost plan, concept, cost plan, schematic, and detailed design, and many other stages. How you are going to determine whether I'm in a concept design, I'm in a detailed design, I'm in a schematic design? RIBA made some kind of output. In this stage, if you are going to deliver so-and-so document, then you can consider that you achieve concept design. In this stage, if you are going to develop so-and-so document, you can consider you achieve so-and-so stages. So based on that, they develop some kind of stages that's going to tell you, depend on your design development, which stage you are. So depend on your design stage, especially concept as well as schematic design, the cost planner or the cost consultant, he will sit next to them and he will receive cost related information. And every time he will check that, okay, you are slowly growing your design. While you are growing your design, how much impact the changes it's going to make to your budget. Initially, you said 200 million, and the designer develops some kind of 200 million worth of small development of design, and he will give the design to the cost consultant. And the cost consultant will take it and they will make some kind of estimation, and they will tell the dear client, yes, it is in 195 million. It's good. Then the designer will further develop. The development will grow, and the client also will like, he will like something, he will dislike something. So he will also give some feedback to the designer. Based on the client requirement, the designer will change. Are they going to keep change continuously? No. They will change certain amount and they will give the document to you. Okay, dear consultant, I develop now. Tell me whether it is still within 200 million. Now you are going to use your tool called cost plan to monitor that amount, whether it is still in 200 million or not. So this is the fundamental requirement of cost plan. Normally, this cost plan will be used as a tool to drive your design. So every time designer develop the design, he will give the document to you. You are going to receive and you will do your maths and you will identify how much it will cost using cost plan. Then you will tell the designer and the client, dear designer and client, the latest design that you provided, that's going to impact your budget. That will increase by 20 million, 30 million. Now it is 230 million. Please don't do that. Remove some kind of high value portion from your design. So what they will do? They will bring the design down and they will tell that, okay, dear cost consultant, now check that. We change some kind of design. We change so and so thing. So you are going to do the things and you will identify that. Now you will tell, yes, now we are within the 200 million. So now develop that. So throughout the period, while they are evolving, while they are developing the design, they are going to come back to the cost controller, cost planner, where they are the king of the budget determiner. They will tell the designer and the client, dear designer and the client, now your latest design says you incorporated something, for an example, gold plated window. Previously it was wooden. Now you change that to gold plated window. That's going to impact you 25 million. I'm telling some kind of example for you to understand. So throughout the design development, the client will give many changes to the designer. The designer will change without knowing whether it's going to impact the cost or not. And they will come back to us. And we as a cost consultant, cost planner, or maybe cost consultant team, we will monitor and identify, okay, what are the changes, how much it may cost. Okay, the total cost will be impacted by 30 million. Dear client, now your latest design, as you change window from wooden or timber to gold plated, now your cost going to be 230 million. 30 million more, you need to do value engineering or value management or whatever it is to bring the cost down. Now they will redesign it. So the main purpose of this cost plan will be used to drive the design. Most of the time we do think that cost plan we are going to prepare from the cost, from the design. Of course, we do prepare cost plan using the design. But remember, after we prepared our cost plan, we are not going to give that to the client. We are going to advise the client. Dear client, from the latest design, it says that the total cost going to be 230 million, which is more than your budget. Your budget is only 200 million. So now please revise the drawing, revise the design. So you are driving the design. You are the one who is telling them whether they can develop the design or reduce the design, they can change it. So mainly the cost plan will be used for the purpose of driving, directing the design as well as the client, right? So this is the purpose of cost plan. When we speak about cost plan, of course, most of the time we have some kind of concern from where I can find this cost plan, how I can develop the cost plan, what kind of information will be incorporated within that. I will come to that bit later. Before that, make sure you are going to implement a cost plan appropriate for that project. If you are joining a project where a client asks you to do some kind of concern or say that, okay, welcome, Mr. Cost Consultant. I'm developing my design and I need to have some kind of tools to monitor my design, whether I'm changing my designs, whether is that going within my budget or not. I need some kind of tool. Then you will tell that, oh, don't worry about that. I have a tool called cost plan. Okay, please implement that. You know, we can use cost plan, but you don't have any tools. Very important. I keep telling all my students too, or anyone who asks us advisors. I do tell them, when you join any company or any project, when you start to work for any project, make sure if someone asks you to implement some system, first question you need to ask, do you have any templates? For example, if the person is a real estate or maybe real estate developer, they might have developed hundreds of buildings previously. They might have developed some kind of estimate or cost plan or maybe other relevant documents related templates. Rather than you develop new templates, spend 2-3 months, put people, develop that, why don't you simply go ask them, get the things and implement or develop as required for the project and implement it. So make sure the very first one, you are going to identify whether we have a cost plan from the client or not. Get that? And you are going to develop that as required for the project. For example, if you join one project, in that project, the employer asks you to implement engineer instruction. You will first ask the employer, do you have any templates? Engineer instruction form, do you have it? Then he will tell them, ask me, yes, we have one previously used here. Take it, modify. So you will change the project name, date, so on, so information, then you will implement. Similar to that, ask whether, dear client, do you have cost plan? If not, no problem. I'm a cost consultant. I have one. I will implement it. So that's going to be simple format. You will take the format from your company or from your client. Then you are going to implement it and modify it as required. The main purpose of cost plan, the very first thing, that to monitor the project budget. The second one, always ensure that the design will be developed within the budget. And the third one, the client will be notified about the cost. Dear client, don't think that you are changing all the design that's going to be free of charge. It will not cost you money, right? The client will come and tell the designer, dear designer, why don't we think about so-and-so thing to be changed from wood to so-and-so, from wood to steel, from normal cast iron to SS steel. He will think that it's only a change of design, but he doesn't know that there are cost related impact. So cost plan you use to give advice to the client, to give advice to the designer, and also to monitor the project budget. What kind of advice? Designer, your design is going to take more money and it's going to impact the budget. Please bring your design down. Dear client, you are keep sending variation. Remember that that's going to make many cost impact. And also I can monitor my cost report. Cost plan is showing that, of course, you have a cost impact. Bring that down. And also every time you will say that whether it is 200 million or not. So mainly cost plan will be used for these kind of purposes, right? When we speak about cost plan implementation, the very first one, of course, you got a format from the client, or maybe you got some kind of format from your company. You got that. Now you have a format, you repair the format, you prepare it, you change certain information. Previously it was ABC project. Now we change that to XYZ project, dates, so on, so information, required information, formalization, and everything. You will get employees requirement. Okay, are you happy? This is the cost plan I'm going to implement. Yes. Now you're going to come back, sit down and ask the client, dear client, can you please tell me what is your budget? Tell me what is your program? Tell me so and so thing. So he will give all this information to you, budget, program, brief of the project, and the type of the project, everything he will give, where all these factors will make impact to the cost. If he did not provide you program, you will not determine how long the project is going to be. You cannot determine the preliminaries of the project. Simple. If he did not provide budget, you can't prepare the cost plan. Very simple. So what you're going to do, after you set the format, you're going to go to the client, tell the client to give some kind of budget, other information. What is your expected program? Okay, 36 months. Now you're going to identify 36 months, this kind of project, and I need so and so preliminaries. So I'm going to price it. Your company can support you to prepare those things. While you receive such an information from the client, you will get other information from designer. What are those information? Of course, designer will provide you designs, concept design or schematic design. And also they will give specification. Whenever they give you some kind of concept design, they can make something like a motor, for an example, or maybe a tank or window. Do you think that you are a magician to get what kind of window, so and so thing? What is the type of motor? What is the type of generator? What is the capacity? You can guess? Not always. So you're going to get not only the design of the building, but also inside the building or maybe within the building, what are the specifications you are expecting? Similar to that, what is the structural load, concrete size, or maybe steel size, requirement, For this building, what kind of CCTV, what kind of BMU, what kind of CMU, what kind of DCP you are expecting, system requirement. So while you are getting many information from the client, budget, program, and type of authorities and the brief of the project, while you are getting certain information which is going to give you cost related information, you will get many information from the designer too. Well, the designer will give you concept design, the designer will give you specification, the designer will give you other requirement. From all those information, you're going to identify the cost impact of them. Now you have all the information. You receive a drawing, concept design drawing. Right now, you know that one. You have a drawing. Now I need to determine for this building, how much cost likely to be incurred. How am I going to measure that? I have small format, but how am I going to measure that? Before you start to think about developing cost plan, you need to understand one very fundamental concept. Whenever you develop design or building or program, your buildings will be measured different manners. One client will come and tell you, ask me, I'm constructing the building. I'm going to lease the building. I'm going to rent the building. But whenever I rent, people, they come and tell that I have a common area, I have a common canteen, I have a so-and-so thing. They will not pay to me. I'm really disappointed. I don't know how to measure that. Of course, from the leaser's point of view, he will come and ask you, dear client, dear leaser, you're going to sell or you're going to rent your building. And you're telling that you have a common corridor, you have a common canteen, which will not be utilized by me, that will be utilized by many other people. But you are asking me to pay for that one too? How it's right? So when we develop the design, when we measure a building, when we develop any design, of course, the measurement will differ. One client will tell that, no, dear consultant, measure everything. I'm going to sell the people based on everything. I don't care whether it is common places or whether it is common canteen, whether it is lobby, which will not be utilized by one person, but that will be utilized by other people. But I don't care. I'm going to measure everything, square meter of complete building. I will measure and sell that. Normally, in the measurement, we have build-up area measurement, which will measure majority of the building. We have gross external area that will measure certain element only of the building, that will exclude some kind of external projected areas. And the third one, we have gross internal area. You can see here, when we speak about build-up area, the measurement highlighted complete area of the building. So one client may come to you and say that, ask me, I want to sell the building square meter of build-up area. Whatever the area I constructed, I will measure 200 million and my total area divide square meter, I will sell. If they want to buy, they need to give the money. Another person will come and tell, no, ask me, it's not fair. Some places, it's not something like they are utilizing, that's being utilized by common people. So I need to exclude that and I need to identify other places, utilizable places, how much it's going to cost. So you're going to avoid some places like, here common areas or something like that. You are removing, you will remove and measure and you will make it as a gross external area. Similar to that, another client will come and tell that, no, inside my building, I have a one single floor. In that, I have many offices. Each and every offices are utilizing very dedicated carpet area, very specific area. And they don't want to pay the money for the thickness of the wall. They don't want to pay the money for the so-and-so thing. So I'm going to be fair and I will measure only the internal usable area and I will pay the money for that one only. So it depends on the client, depends on the selling strategy of the client. They want to measure different areas. They have a different area measurement, build up area, gross external area, gross internal area. And whenever you measure different scientific term, you need to include certain measurement. You need to exclude certain measurement. I can hear your voice. Ask me, you're telling include and exclude. From where we are going to get? Who is going to direct us? In order to identify when we measure these kind of element, what are the element to be excluded? What are the element to be included? We have guidance. We have guidance from well-reputed some kind of institution like RICS, RIBA, and many other MCIOB. They have introduced, they know the problem. Client will come and ask you, I'm not going to do so and so thing. I'm not going to consider external wall. I'm going to consider only internal wall, or I need to sell so and so thing. Can you please measure? Then you will be confused. For this client, do we need to remove this? Do we need to exclude that? Do we need to do that? So RICS and other institutions also, they identify this problem. They know that one in USA, one person will tell that gross external area 1000 real. Okay, what are the elements you have included? Gross external area included this one, excluded this one, included this one, excluded this one. The same person will come to Saudi Arabia or GCC. He will speak about GEA, gross external area, but this country person will tell that no, in the gross external area, we don't include this. We exclude this. We include that. We exclude that. But your measurement is different. Our measurement is different. So there will be a conflict, problems. So to avoid that, industrial good regulators like RICS, they release some kind of guidance. Guys, wait, stop all your problem. If it is gross external area, these are the elements you need to include, and these are the elements you need to exclude. In your building, you have canopies. When you measure gross external area, exclude that. In your building, if you have open vehicle parking, if it is gross external area you are measuring, that one you exclude. Similar to SMM, cement and POMI and everything. Whenever we measure, if the hole or if the gap or if the open is less than 1 meter, sometimes we don't neglect that. We do measure everything. If it is more than 1 meter square meter, we do measure and deduct from total area. Similar to that, when we do our cost plan, it's not measurement. Remember that it's not estimation. It is cost plan. We are planning between each and every element of the building, structure, substructure, superstructure, steel, slab, roof, door, window, FF&E, fitting, furnitures and equipment. How much we are splitting? We need to identify the elemental breakdown. That's why we use a document called cost plan. In order to measure that cost plan, we are going to use a document called Code of Measuring Practice. So what you are going to do, you are going to open this book initially first. You will keep next to you. And you are going to prepare a document called Area Schedule. The very first element for you to start to prepare cost plan. After you establish the cost plan, the very first element that you are going to develop, we call that as an area schedule. What is that area schedule? What do you mean by area schedule? Ask me. What is that? The meaning of that, it's a very simple document and one of the fundamental as well as important document to calculate your complete building areas. Whether it is build-up area, whether it is gross external area, whether it is gross floor area, whether it is net internal area, what is the area of so and so thing? For an example, you are going to measure initially before or at the very early stage. In order to start your area schedule, what you need to do, you need to measure your build-up area initially. Most of the time, let me take the laser point. Most of the time people think that we need to start to measure from net internal area, then GFA, then GEA, then BUA. No. What you need to do, you need to measure bigger area. Bigger area is build-up area. So you will not exclude many elements. In your building plan, you will measure all the area most of the time. You will exclude 1 or 2 pieces. You will include everything, you will measure it. Okay, I have a tower 1, tower 2, tower 3. Tower 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. Each and every level, total build-up area. You can see here, in tower 1, we listed all the floors we have. Then each and every floors we measure build-up area. This build-up area is the total area. You are not going to exclude anything most of the time, unless otherwise instructed by your client or maybe your manager. You will measure total area. That's what we call build-up area. From that, you will slowly deduct something to reach to a position called gross external area. In order to get the gross external area, RICS say that if you are measuring gross external area, you need to remove or exclude so-and-so element, right? So what you are going to do, after you measure total building area as a build-up area, from that, whatever the element RICS say that deduct, exclude, you will measure them. RICS say that if it is gross external area, terrace area should not be there. So you measured complete build-up area without deducting terrace. So now you will go and see, okay, level 1, we don't have any terrace. Okay, same BUA going to be GEA. Level 2, we have small terrace. Measure it, 308 square meter. So the total area of level 1 to level 13, level 11, total 8,223 build up total square meter. From that, I identify many terraces, small pieces of each and every level. I combine everything. That's going to be 3,008. And I don't have any podium in the tower. And I don't have any parking, open parking in the tower. So you can list down here all the exclusion that RICS say that exclude it. So total area you measure. From that, slowly you will deduct whatever the exclusion you want to exclude. Then you will come to a position called gross external area. Now, RICS say that if it is gross external area, you can measure so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so element, and you can exclude so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so element. You are not going to measure one by one. What you are going to do, you are going to measure everything. Everything will be included, exclude so-and-so thing. Only measure 3 excluded item, deduct. So from total area, you are deducting the measured exclusion, then you will come to gross external area. From that gross external area, RICS same document will tell that if it is gross internal area, gross floor area, then you need to deduct certain element, parameter wall thickness, lift, void, so on so thing you need to avoid. Right now you have this area, which is BUA. From that you identify certain places and deduct it. Now you have gross external area. From that again, RICS said that if you want to go from GEA to GIA, you need to deduct certain, exclude certain element. Now you are going to measure those elements and exclude them. So now your area will become more and more clear and succinct. So after you measured build-up area, as RICS previous document rules of code of measuring practice said, you will identify whatever the element that I need to exclude, you will exclude. Then you will come to gross external area. From the gross external area to come to gross floor area, another page, second page or third page of the RICS, it says that different procedure, different element to be included, different element to be excluded. So only identify the excluded element, you will identify and exclude again. So from GEA, you will exclude again certain element to come to GFA. From GFA, again RICS, after 6 or 7 page, again it will speak about if you want to know measure the NIA, net internal area, again deduct so-and-so, exclude so-and-so element. Now you'll go back to the design, drawing, then you will identify those exclusion, then you will deduct it. Remember, initially build-up area, it includes everything. Terrace, staircase, everything. From that, you remove certain element to come gross external area. From that, again, you remove certain exclusion to come gross floor area. From that, again, you excluded certain elements to come net internal area. From that, you are going to exclude certain element to come to your usable areas or other areas. So whatever the client wants, you can identify and give that to him easily. This is the fundamental document to be developed before you start to prepare your estimation. So most of the people, they don't aware, because why? Most of the commercial people, they will work as a person to take two quantities and send that to their manager. Their manager is the clever one who will prepare this area schedule. If he can find this area schedule, he can tell the client the total amount of money, how much it's going to be per square meter, how much. If you are going to sell it based on the build-up area, how much per square meter. If you are going to sell it as a Gross external area, how much square meter? He can tell that. He will be the smart person. So this is the very first one you need to prepare. Once you prepare this area schedule for each and every building, for example, this is one of the documents which I prepared previously, around 6-7 years ago, I prepared. So in that, we measured around 4 towers and podiums and many other things. So tower number 1, we identify all the floors, ground floor, level 1 to 11, 13, skylight, duplex, each and every area we segregated. And we identify BUA, GEA, GFA, NIA for each and every level of that building. After we identify that, now you have a big task. This is very simple, area measurement. Measure the area. Now you have a big task called estimation, elemental breakdown. What you are going to do? You prepare this area schedule, the building complete area, and you're going to put that aside. And now you are going to start to think about preparing estimation. This estimation, previously we never had any very good guidance. This was identified by the RICS, and RICS released a guidance called elemental breakdown, NRM1 cost plan, a book to guide you how to develop a building elements. The main purpose, as I said earlier, the cost plan is going to plan the budget for a building and tell the designer and the client how much you will incur, what are the changes you are making. So in order to do that accurately, we have a document called cost plan estimation that was introduced by RICS. In that, RICS developed the building into a small portions, elements, substructure. Under substructure, we have piling. Under that, we have some kind of clearance. Under that, we have retaining wall, so and so thing. So RICS developed some kind of elements. Under that element, you can identify buildings, each and every element of the building. You will identify the columns, you will find the beams, you will find the slabs, you will identify the roof, you will identify the window. They have developed some kind of elements. You can see here, they mentioned that facilitating work, substructure, superstructure, internal finishing, fitting furnitures and equipment, services, prefabricated building. So they develop some kind of development similar to our POMI and SMM7. And they say that, okay, use this document as a standard. You're going to do nothing. You're going to take the book and develop some kind of Excel sheet using that. That's going to reflect something like this. This will be your estimation. Similar to your POMI or other BOQ, they have a same format. NRM, they develop some kind of format. You can see here, they listed all the elements. They are going to tell you if it is facilitating work, what are the elements that you need to consider. You see here, toxic, hazardous material. The second one, major demolition work. The third one, temporary work. The fourth one, specialist ground work. So they listed. What you are going to do, you're going to prepare same number in an Excel sheet. You're going to prepare the same number. You can see here, we have an enabling work, elements for the site clearance, disposal, demolition, so and so, dewatering, everything listed within the NRM1, which is cost plan. Cost plan, which is you're going to extract and list down all those things. You will list down under enabling work. These are the elements I will list down. Under substructure, NRM1 said that these are the elements I'm going to list down. So what you're going to do, you are going to read NRM1, which is going to tell you what are the major 7-8 elements of a building, facilitating work, substructure, superstructure, whatever it is. See, you see here, they have some kind of 8 major element. Under this major element, we have sub-elements, right? Here to facilitating work. Under that, we have toxic hazardous material, major demolition, and temporary support, specialist groundwork, temporary dewatering, extraordinary works. So you are going to prepare an Excel sheet. Number 1, facilitating work. And these are the elements. Don't think about whether we have for our project or not. Just develop it. You already developed the area schedule. Keep that aside. and you are going to develop this one as a BOQ themes, something like a BOQ simple. You will develop, and also RICS in the elemental breakdown, NRM1 cost plan, they are telling that each and every element how you need to measure. If it is toxic hazardous material, you see, they are telling that what is toxic hazardous material and what are the elements will be considered as a toxic hazardous material and how this will be measured, one item, and how or what are the inclusion and exclusion whenever you measure you need to do. So they are guiding you. So what you're going to do is very simple. You will take an Excel sheet and you list down all the materials here based on the NRM1, and you're going to identify and go back and check. Okay, they are telling that site clearance. For my project, do we need site clearance? Yes, our project located in so and so place, very, our contour of the place is very bad. We need to do a site clearance to start our work. Yes, we need site clearance. So quickly, go and measure the area. What are the area I need to do site clearance? Maybe complete your site, you need to do a site clearance. Or sometime only certain area you need to do site clearance. So what you need to do? You need to go and measure the area where I'm going to do the site clearance. While I was working for Korean Brown, while I was working for TNT, while I was working for my contractors, I did the same thing. I'm going to measure the area, what I need to do. I'm going to do clearance. Okay, what are the areas? So for this area, I don't want to do anything. This area, I need to do demolition. For this area, I need to remove some kind of bushes and everything. For this area, I need to remove debris, something like that. So I'm going to measure the area. Wherever I need to do some kind of clearance, I'm going to measure and put that here. So what I did, I read the NRM1. I developed some kind of BOQ format. It's a very simple, straightforward format. You can see here, site clearance, disposal of basement formation, or maybe elements for metal open cut excavation, soaring system, filling, so and so thing. These are the element came from where? I got it from where? NRM. NRM listed certain element. I'm going to pick, plug it, and I can change it as I want. In the NRM, they mentioned toxic element. I'm going to write it here, removal of toxic element. That's no harm. But first element is toxic element. Or maybe NRM say that site clearance. I'm going to put here the money required for site clearance. No harm. You're keeping the same element. So what you're going to do, you're going to develop this enabling work, or maybe substructure, superstructure, FFNE, all those elements. And you will put all the element under them. And also you're going to quantify them. So for an example, if it is filling, so you will identify what are the places we need to do a filling. You will go and measure them. But remember, this cost plan, when we are going to develop, at the time of design still being developed. They are still developing the design. So I do not have a complete information. I have some half-cooked drawings, half-cooked design, half-cooked information. So what I'm going to do? Most of the time, I will make my assumption. As a cost consultant, I have my previous experience. My manager got previous experience. My company got previous experience about these things. So what I'm going to do? Most of the time, I will measure. Okay, this place that we need to do cut and fill. This place we need to do excavation. But we don't know the excavation depth. Excavation depth we don't know. We haven't received the detailed information. They are still developing the design. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make my assumption. I'm going to make my assumption and I'm going to price it based on my assumption. So what I will do, I will prepare this small estimation format. And from that, I'm going to, for each and every element, for example here, file foundation for B2, basement 2. So I'm going to go open tower 1 and 2 related drawing, basement 2. I'm going to identify, okay, what are the location, the file foundation, the designer designed. I'm going to measure that and put that area. I'm going to put that. And what I'm going to do? I'm going to price it. And after you measured all the units, all the elements as NRM said, in some situations, remember, you will not have that element. For example, you can see here, elements for groundwork for storm water storage tank. For this project, they say that, oh no, we don't have any information. Let's assume This already included within sheet file setup, like our BOQ guys, like what we are developing, how we are developing our BOQ. We are going to develop some kind of estimation. But remember, in this stage, we will not have majority of the information. We will not have most of the information. We will have very advanced information. So we will measure the area and make our assumption and put the rate. So what these people did, they measured, okay, site clearance. We don't know whether we need to do site clearance, all the area or small area. Let's assume certain area from our experience. Okay, this area they need to do. So we measured as a square meter and we will get our rates. Well, from where we are going to get our rate? Most of the time, if you are a cost consultant, you will have a rate. How? Where? Mostly from your previous project. These companies will have some kind of what? Some kind of previous data, cost, benchmark, completed project, actual cost they will have. So they will use and they will make some kind of adjustment, location, time factor, or any other fluctuation. They will adjust it. Right, okay, 2023. We did some kind of site clearance. We have an actual data for so-and-so mall, which is 8 real. But you know, we did this last year. Now almost 1 year. And we have so-and-so problem and escalation, demand, so-and-so thing. Let's make it 10 real. So they will put this rate as a 10 real. Or maybe if they can get this rate from current project that they are working, they will properly analyze and put that. While I was working for one of the project, the client said that we want to know imported material price. What we did, we call our other project which works. We call our other people, those who work for that project at that time, they were working for that. We call and say that how much for square meter, cubic meter of imported material. They say that it's going to be so and so real. One example, 400 real. We made it 430 real with the adjustment. We made it. So after you set your description based on the NRM1, you are going to measure each and every element. Okay, if it is open cut excavation, what are the location we need to open cut? If it is beam, what are the area that beam will be there? If it is column, from where we have columns, you're going to go measure each and everything and you're going to put the quantities. Of course, you will identify the rates. Most of the time, these rates will be inserted by senior managers, right? The quantities, the estimators and everyone will take. But the rate is very important to multiply it. We need to make sure. I still remember while I was working for one of the projects. So we mistakenly price huge amount of money for swimming pool. We mistakenly made some kind of rate adjustment, wrong rate adjustment. It showed the client only for the swimming pool that's going to cost them millions of money. We did not notice that. The client invited for our meeting. We went to that and we identified we wrongly made our rate adjustment. So most of the time, your managers will identify the rate. Or if you know the rate from the previous project you work, you are going to put that. After you place that, of course, you will identify your total cost. That's all. Right? Is that all? Now, from this, you can identify the total cost of the project. But remember, the very first thing I said, what? The client wants to know. He doesn't care about total cost, each and every pieces of the building. He cares how much I can sell. Per square meter, how much I can sell. So he will ask, okay, ask me, if I'm going to sell this building, gross internal area, how much it will be? If I'm going to sell that gross external area, how much it will be? If I'm going to sell build up area per square meter, how much it will be? Remember, we already prepared area schedule. If it is build up area, we know that that's going to be our 32,498 square meter. If it is gross external area, where from build up area, we removed many exclusion to come to gross external area, which is we measured and recorded 10,206 square meter. If it is gross flow area, from that we need to deduct, or we deduct a certain element to come to another measurement called 6,755 square meter. We already have it. What we are going to put? We know that we identified for the enabling work, the total cost will be 11 million. So we measured, we placed the rate, and we identified the total cost will be around, let's say that 11 million. For example, only this is the 11 million related to enabling work, guys, remember. And for the substructure, we have 35 million. So we have this amount. And we are going to deduct them, or we are going to divide them by our 32,000, 10,000, 6,750, and we're going to put the rate. Simply, if you are going to do your enabling work, if you are going to sell your enabling work after you completed your enabling work, the employer, if you are going to sell your land, including the enabling work, if you are going to sell it using build up area per square meter, you can sell that for 359 rupees or real or whatever it is. If you are going to sell your building as per that gross floor area, you need to sell it 1,727 real. Major client, they will expect you to identify and give them a price per square meter of gross internal area. RICS say that if it is gross internal area from your build-up area, you need to deduct, exclude so and so, 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 many elements. So most of the time, they will ask you to provide gross internal area or gross floor area or whatever the area he wants. So after you completed your amount or estimation, you are going to use your 3-4 numbers, build-up area, gross external area, and gross floor area to see this building, each and every element, how much square meter you need to sell. So this is enabling work, 1,727. The next one, substructure, 5,277. And so on. So you will identify 8, 9, 10 elements of your major element, and you will add them. That will come around, let's say that 5,000. So now you are going to go and tell that, dear client, if you are going to sell the building based on build-up area, now currently, as per our estimation today, you need to sell your building per 5,000. If you are going to sell your building based on the gross external area, that's going to be, let's say that 4,000. And if you are going to sell your area based on the build-up area, you can sell it very less. It's going to be around 2,000. Why? You are selling your walls, you are selling your central area, you are selling your public area, you are selling your lobby, everything you are selling. But when it's come gross internal area, you are selling only your usable area, only the office area, only the table area, only so and so thing. Because of that, you need to sell higher price. Then only you will cover all the costs that you incurred for common area, public area, and lobbies and everything. So mainly, we will do all this work like our normal estimation. We will use the NRM1 to develop this, the description and everything. And we will measure these quantities with our assumption. And you can see here, assume to 50% of site parameters. So here, they identify shoring system. They don't have any shoring design. But in the NRM, they are telling that if you are going to do enabling work, you may need shoring system. So the cost consultants thinks that maybe 50% of the building, we need to bring some kind of shoring retention wall. Assumption. Maybe the later, after they develop the design, you may not have that retention wall. You will make it 0. No problem. But now you need to assume. So you are going to assume the things and you will put that area, measure based on that, price it, and you will identify the total amount. After you identify that, the area schedule that you measured previously, you are going to put that and see each and every element, how much per square meter we're going to cost. It's going to cost us. And finally, you will add all the build-up area rate. For example, if it is build-up area, 359, 1,096, 2,075, 3,080, so and so thing, you will add everything, and that will come around 9,000. Now you'll go and tell, dear client, if you are going to sell your building now, you can sell it for 9,000. You know, most of the time, the real estate developers, the building developers, they will start to sell their houses early stage. How they do determine how much per square meter? This is how they do determine. This is how they do determine. So they will identify, if I'm going to sell my building, gross internal area. So they will ask the cost consultant, does cost consultant identify, okay, gross internal area, these are the inclusion, these are the exclusion. We have build up area From that, we will deduct so and so thing. Then we will come to gross internal area, which is 10,000 square meter. And our total estimated cost up to now, let's say that 100 million. So 10,000 square meter divided by 100 million divided by 10,000 square meter. That's going to be so and so amount. Dear client, you can sell it for 1,000 real per square meter gross internal area. So he will sell it. Okay, square meter so and so amount. Come and buy it. People will come and buy. So the main reason of this gross internal area, gross flow area, build-up area and everything for the client to take a decision, for the client to sell the building, for the client to lease the building. You know, if you are working in an office, if it is not their own office, of course, if we need to go for a rental and you will identify per square meter how much it's going to cost. You will find the places, you will identify that, and that building owner will sell you the internal area per square meter how much. So you will identify, okay, I have 150 people for that one so and so square meter. We need so and so. The cost is okay. Let's go for it. This is how you are going to develop your cost plan. Normally, the cost plan will not be stopped from this. It will continue from that point. The work that you did, everything related to mostly estimation. The cost plan will not only be or going to be estimation. That will be more than that. You're going to prepare a document called cost plan. Cost plan, it's not only the measured places, but also it includes other element. It includes exclusion. It includes executive summary. It includes many things. So now you are going to prepare your pro-period cost plan. In that, we will include the revision. You will include executive summary. Very important. You can see here in the executive summary, they will mention what is the total estimated contract amount. You can see here, after we develop our cost estimation, we mentioned that, dear client, as per the recent design that we receive, for example, 100% concept design as we receive, the total cost likely to be 917 million. But remember, your budget was 824 million only. So we have a difference of around, let's say that 100 million different. So you're going to prepare a report, executive summary, and give that to the client. The client will read that and he will ask, oh, right, ask me, do we have 100 million different? Very good that you identified now. Let's tell the designer to revise the design. I don't have money. I already agreed to bring only 800 million, 824 million. Let's do some kind of revision. So what they will do? They will tell the designer, dear designer, please, you are over designing. I have only 800 million. But the cost consultant telling that based on your last developed design, that's going to cost 917 million. So let's do some kind of value engineering. Let's do some kind of value management activities. Let's do some kind of other possible design changes to bring my money back to, bring the design back to 800 million worth. So after you did that, you're going to prepare a report. In that report, you will mention all the items that you considered. I use this drawing. I use this document. I use this meeting minutes. I use so-and-so thing. I use so-and-so thing. You know, whenever you measured, you do make many assumptions. And you make some kind of note. All those notes, you will take it from your meetings, your previous experience, so-and-so thing. So here, you are going to list down what are the assumptions I made, how I prepare that. In that meeting, dear client, you say that, okay, consider the column as 200 kilogram of steel in it per cubic meter. So I took that as a note and I made this as a mark and I consider that, okay, the client say that 200 kilogram per cubic meter as a reinforcement. I use that for my estimation and I'm going to note it. And I'm going to include within the document. In the document, I'm going to put my whole assumption. You see here, I assume pile cap 180 kilogram per cubic meter of concrete. For PC slab and substructure, I assume 85 kilogram of cubic meter. So I am telling that, guys, Now you are developing the design. I don't have any detailed design to make it everything perfect. So from your design, from my experience, I made some kind of judgment. So you're going to put all the estimation and you're going to put all the risk and opportunities. You're going to tell the client, dear client, of course, we have a risk. Remember, now we are placing zones of items, but in future, the price will be escalated. So that will be your risk. Make sure that you will consider some small amount of money. Or else you are going to tell that so-and-so changes. Or within, you are going to start your construction after 9 months, dear client. Remember, there are risks. The government may introduce new regulation. For that one, you need to pay around 100 million. Remember that. So you are going to put your risk. You will make your assumption. And also, you will make all the cost estimation that will be impacted. You will list down, dear client, because of this, the cost may be changed. Because of the so-and-so thing, the cost may be changed. Because of the so-and-so thing, this cost may be changed. So you will make everything as a list down. You will not stop with that. You will go and develop further document. You will include further document. That's going to be what are the document I use. What are the measurement synopsis? You're going to tell that, okay, dear client, in our building, we had so-and-so balustrade. In 100 places, we had balustrade and we correctly identified and we estimated them. These are the places. So you're going to put the photo, snap of that, and you will list down all the balustrade where we have, whether we considered or not, how much we considered, what is the finish, how much square meter we considered. You will put a small chart. Sometime the client may ask you to tell, dear consultant, thank you so much. You did a very nice work. But you know, all the information you listed, I can see you put different rate for the same thing. Here, wall, you put 1,000 riyal. For this wall, you put 2,000 riyal. For this wall, you put 3,000 riyal. Why? Then he will tell that, can you please explain that? You are going to prepare some kind of further explanation. You will attach them as an appendix to the document. You prepare the estimation, you prepare the area schedule, you prepare the executive summary, you prepare the exclusion, inclusion, summaries and everything. You prepare the document, but still in that you are going to include some kind of further explanation. You're going to tell, dear client, I prepare the estimation by considering skylight of 20. These are the skylights I considered. For my estimation, considering so-and-so thing, I prepare so-and-so element. For this kind of wall, that kind of wall, this kind of wall, different types of finishes. I consider marbles, tiles, so-and-so thing, stone, fabric, different types of finishes. So you're going to list down, for this area, we consider marble finishes. For this area, for the roof, we consider this finishes. For this area, it's a small schedule. After you completed your estimation, you will prepare such a schedule and give that to the client. So the client, whenever they read, they will come back and ask you, okay, can you please tell what is that? What kind of element? Why this wall? Under that you price 1,000, this wall 2,000. Then you will turn that and say, dear client, see, in this place we are using normal finishing, normal wall. But here on this place we are using some kind of artificial, article, so-and-so, different types of wall. That's why we are pricing different. And also we already listed in there wall finish, floor finish, ceiling finish schedules. We already mentioned that. So you're going to prepare and give that to them. After you prepare that, very simple. What you're going to do? You are going to prepare your executive summary. This is one of the very important. Most of the time, the client will not go detail into that. They will not go detail. They will simply see the very first page where you're going to prepare your executive summary. You see, these are the 8 elements or the 7 elements that you identify as a major element from NRM. You remember? Behind that, you did plenty of works, other works and everything. So you did all this work, small element, divisions, and further divisions, everything you did. These are the 8 elements. Under that, you got many elements as a division. You estimated and everything. And finally, you're going to put your executive summary telling the client, dear client, we did everything and you can find them as a backup. And in terms of cost, the total cost going to be something like 533 million. And that cost will be allocated between the element like a so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so manner. And that will be 433 million, 494 million, and so on so thing. You see, all these elements you identified and you price them. Not only estimated element, but also you will put some kind of risk. The design haven't completed yet. The design still being developed. You don't have detailed information. So you need to think about serving yourself. So what you're going to do, I made many assumptions. I don't have full design. I did something from my experience and from my management, previous project and everything. So let me put some kind of contingencies. When we speak about contingencies, it's a risk allowance. You can remember something like that, where throughout the design development, the client will not fear, I don't have money. So what you are going to do at very early stage, you're going to tell the client, dear client, originally for the project, of course, it may cost around 400 million. But remember, we don't know the design completely. So there may be chances for the design development. There may be chances for the government requirement. There may be chances for the changes from yourself. So considering everything, I will put some kind of 25% as a contingency for future changes. So the cost for the building as per our estimation using our existing half-cooked drawings, the estimation is 433 million. In addition to that, we're going to consider some kind of estimation as a risk contingency. That's going to be around 20 million for design development future, around another 30 million for design changes, another 50 million for employer changes, another 70 million for so-and-so changes. So total now notice not 433 plus another 120, that's going to be 550. So the very important, at very early stage, don't give impression to the client, your cost will be 433 million, only the measured element. No, if you are going to give them throughout the development of the design will evolve and there may be unknown changes and your budget will go up. Your estimation will go up from 433 to 500, 600. The client will come and tell you, ask me, or maybe so-and-so company, you say that 433, now it is 600. Why? Then you will tell, dear client, do you remember? We never considered any risk. We know that one, that was a very initial cost plan. And the design was very simple. We got no detailed information. We were unable to detail measured. But you know that one, throughout the period, the consultant developed the design. So now the client will tell that why you did not give me this impression earlier. Why you did not include some kind of contingencies earlier to protect that? I could have taken some kind of decision based on that. Why did not tell that? So in order to give a good impression to the client, you're not only going to tell that total cost will be 433 million, but also you will add certain contingencies, certain changes, certain future changes cost as a contingencies. There are 4 types of risk, guys. One, design change. The second one, employer change. The third one, employer's other risk. The fourth one, construction development risk, right? You don't want to go detail into that. These are the 4 types of risk available. For each and every risk, you will allocate money. And remember, at very early stage of cost plan, very early stage of concept design, you will have very small information, known information. You will know that this square will be tower, this square will be building, this square will be mall. You will only know about those information. Square meter you will measure and you will put the price. But throughout the development, you will get more detailed information. The square will move from square to its shape. It will get further information. So at early stage, you will put high amount of risk elements. Contingencies, you will put high amount. 15% of the total estimation, 20% of the total estimation, you will put as a risk. But while your design grows, you will get to know more detailed information. So you will reduce the risk amount to contingencies too. So initially your contingency will be 20%. And now you are developing. So client will come and ask me, You initially put 20% as a contingency risk amount for the design development, future changes and everything. Now we have developed the design. Our design is very upfront. We know all the information. Why you are still keeping 20%? Oh, sorry, client, it's not 20%. I'm going to reduce that to 5%. So throughout the period of development of the design, while you are developing your cost plan, you will get more further information. Many assumptions will move. Do you remember we put an assumption? 50% of the retaining wall, 50% of the parameter area will have shoring system. We made an assumption, but now we are in very developed design stage. We can see whether we have shoring system or not. We don't have shoring system. We're going to remove our assumption and we will reduce unwanted risk. So these are the final document that you are going to prepare. In the final document, you will have major 7-8 elements of that. Against each and every element, how much the total cost, rate per square meter, and the total cost. And you will identify all these elements, and finally you will get to know how much it's going to be. Okay, so this is what we call cost plan. Nothing more than that. So it's very simple. You need to start from the point. If you already established a cost plan, if you have a templates and everything, you need to start with the point called area schedule develop. That's a very fundamental. After that, estimation. From that estimation, you will identify the area schedule and you see how much for each and every element per square meter. Then from that, you will advise the client how much it's going to cost if you are going to sell the building. Right? That's all about cost plan. It's a very simple document. You only need to develop it. You need to involve within that. If you have any questions, guys, please type that in chat. I'll try to answer for next 15 minutes.